Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another day, another you, another me, and on this auspicious of occasions, we are going to be jumping back in to our postponed Husk Soup versus El Matador series. Now, no spoilers, we're going to be watching game one again to get us back in the swing of things. For people who did not see it, happy days for you guys. People who did see it already, I'm sorry. We're going to be watching game one again right now, and then we're going to be continuing the draft afterwards. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, get some juicy, tasty beverages into your body. No spoilers for anyone else for game one. It has already been played, but we're going to be watching that one again. And it's going to be starting up just after this little thingamajiggy. So please enjoy. And after this, we're going to be jumping into game number one with El Matador, game number two with El Matador and Soup. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time. Number two, yay! In the players participating in this best of 7 show match here for all the marbles, basically, in the entirety of the world. We've got, on the right-hand corner, Matador playing as Thor. In the left-hand corner, in the red color, playing as Fushi, it is Soup. And the map is Ghost Lake. And for those of you playing along at home, these two players have met twice in tournament. Twice. And they both won one time against each other. Funnily enough, I believe both series were a 3-1. So I'm expecting fireworks here. I think this is going to be a really, really fun series for both players here and all of us to watch. But we're going to be kicking this one off with Ghost Lake. And for all of those also playing along at home, trying to wonder exactly what is the Sunday Classic, I said it in the first one. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it every single time. Tribute to Army Corps and all that he did, providing an exceptional amount of entertainment way back in 2000, I think it was 2011, 2012, with his own little tirade against the experts, taking them on in his own little Sunday Classic at the start of time itself. So, as always, big shout out to what was great in the past as we continue to make things great for the future. Well, okay. We've got Fushi versus Thor. I don't even know what that was. We got Fushi versus Thor, Soup versus El Matador, and a best of 7 in front of us. Let's check out the relics over on this side. We've got Hestia's Hearth, which is going to be a train time reduction of 5% there. For the villagers, over here we've got Demeter's Throne. Not really the most effective of relics for this matchup. Does make your houses cost cheaper, which is nice, but it's not just that. It's not just about the houses. It's all the other good stuff as well. We've got Arrows of Heracles over here as well. 5% plus for ranged soldiers and the heroes. And at the top of the map, we've got Oseberg, Wagon, movement speed plus 10% for those caravans there. So some decent relics, but most importantly here, what we're going to be seeing here is Matador just going for his standard Thor Dwarven Armory opening. He wants to get himself out extra couple of dwarves to give him some villager advantage early on, but not just that, it's also going to be getting himself some army advantage as well to kick the game off. On the other side here, Soup, he's kind of known in my books, in my worlds, in my roundabout sort of situation with all things, to be going for a fast 3 Qualfu type build. He's not actually doing it in this game, however. He only went for the 2 or the 1 extra Qualfu. He could have waited, and once another villager came out, he could have built the Qualfu. He could have advanced really, really late, and that would actually put him at a similar amount of economy to Matador early on. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just getting out an extra Qualfu straight away when he hits the classical age, nonetheless. But he could have gone that route. Probably not have any problems because we wouldn't be that far behind on the classical age. Maybe he would be, I don't know. But he probably would be fine. But nonetheless, it's going to be just a standard opening. And one thing we should note here is on Ghost Lake, it's 1 gold mine Ghost Lake. Sometimes we see 2 gold mines. Sometimes you see 1 gold mine. In this situation, there is just the one. And there are going to be 2 large gold mines apiece here. So this is one of the incredibly aggressive variants of Ghost Lake. And this relic at the top is going to be so obscenely important because I think one way to play this would be to go for more of a boomy approach, but get the trade route going. So if you can grab this town center, get this gold mine, put a market in the corner coming over onto this town center here, nice and early, you don't have to worry about the rest of the gold mines. And kind of similarly for Matador to go the opposite side and do something like that. But we'll see what the actual plan is going to be here. One thing that Matador is really good at is playing aggressive, is playing raiding playstyle, is doing some strong things with that, as the troll going to be getting a little bit of a Scouteroony out, as there's already Najar and a couple of, a Chillin and a cheeky little Pioneer roaming forward. You got to be careful with this early on. There is a timing if you advance fast enough with China to get just a little bit of damage done onto the Norse player with a couple of early Pioneers. But if you miss that timing, you really don't want to be here with those Pioneers for much longer. Otherwise, you're just gonna be in a lot of pain. You're just gonna be in a lot of pain as Soup runs forward. He's taking some damage here onto that town center. He will be able to heal back up with his Chillin, but that is not ideal for him in the slightest. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I am just obscure. I appreciate you, my friend. That's so nice. Mwah. As Soup now roams off to the right-hand corner of the map. The Hursa coming through. We'll take a little bit of damage here as the Chillin going to be simply just retreating back home. But yeah, this is the sort of problem that I'm talking about. If you overstay, once enough Hursa come out, they're just going to push across the map and they're just going to start taking out units very, very quickly. The Chillin also getting chased down. There is no Hall of Thanes just yet, but it's going to be coming through very, very shortly. Meanwhile, we've got the Fire Archers in good control from Matador to start dodging up here as the Chillin turn around. And those Hursa getting one snipe in as the Fire Archers are enough. There's enough of a mass of Fire Archers right now, and Matador will need to pull back home. We got a question in chat about how strong the Chillins are after the recent patch. I guess we're going to find out in this game because it looks like Soup is going very heavy onto those to kick this game off. Meanwhile, we've got the raiding cavalry coming through for Matador. And Soup wandering in to try and take out the houses and all the other stuff. Apparently, Q is pronounced for the K. That's not exactly true. In Japanese, it's pronounced Kirin, but in Chinese, I believe it is Chirin or something like that. I can't do the tones, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. All right, we got ourselves a cheeky medium range soldiers coming through. There is also this other really nice tech for. There is this really nice tech for China, which is the Divine Books tech. As we see the units charging in here, ready to take a fight. That troll gets a lot of damage in. The Chillin here trying to get through, trying to snipe units in, but doesn't want to take a fight just because those Hursa are so strong. But a good trade nonetheless. As Soup charges up onto the right-hand corner, gets a little bit more damage onto those dwarves, but good control from Matador. He's holding himself in. Lamb Warrior, thanks so much for the donation, my friend. Let's go. Sunday Classic Hype making the work day better already. I hate that you're working on a Sunday, but I love that we're helping you out with it. Meanwhile, the raiding cavalry are out on the prowl. Soup putting pressure on, but he's got no defense for this raid. 4 raiding cavalry versus 12 villagers. Does he have any units up there? Maybe a couple of halberdier can make their way. He can obviously turn around and start shanking, but Matador is just going to be getting kills here. No attempt to turn around and shank for that spot. Soup gets caught out in a big way. He's very, very... it's very common for Soup to be out on this hunt early on, and Matador has done his homework. Gets a little bit of kills over here as a revenge. Can he lock this position off with the villagers or not? He's going to send his villagers straight back up here. Little bit more damage to come in. 1 raiding cavalry going down. The villager advantage is now 29 to 33 here. As another raiding cavalry falls. Will he get this final one? Well, not this final one, but at least one more. The Chillin will get that special, and they will at least snipe the final one, I think. 6 speed is pretty quick. He's getting out of range. Smack. Oh, he goes onto the wrong one. 14 HP and a dream to retreat back. Military value is equal at the moment. As the Chillin getting chased in here. Going to attempt to retreat back up onto this top side. As the fire archers coming through, we'll be losing one Chillin to those Hers, so they're moving very quick at 5.3 speed. And a good retreat through the wooden wall over there. Soup will be able to move up here and start protecting this position as well with another wall. As the halberdiers and everything else sitting up onto this spot. One technology I'm worried or interested in is this one here. It's called reincarnation, I think. Yeah, reincarnation. This tech, so good. Once you get enough units out, it's time to grab that tech. Before you take a fight, it's time to get that tech. Why? Well, you're getting all those units that are going to potentially die later in the game. You start getting one back every 5 deaths, which ends up paying for itself in like 20 deaths or something. And then, or even less than 20 deaths, probably like 10 deaths. And then from there, you're just printing money for the rest of the game. As Soup looking for a bit of a fight here. I'm not sure he's actually quite going to be able to win this one. He decides to pull back ever so slightly, sniping a whole bunch of Hers so that are not getting controlled here from Matador in the slightest. He's going to be pulling back, loses a ton of those. Good control from Soup. He's got to be careful not to overcommit just yet with those halberdier. As he pulls back, halberdier on top of the raiding cavalry, taking this fight here for Matador. It's going to be so difficult. We'll see if he's going to be able to control this one. Good control from Soup to pull around here. He doesn't have any sort of lightning weapons or anything to help him out on this fight, as the halberdier trying to chase down those raiding cavalry on the back here, as the fire archers snipe down even more Hurser on this front. And it looks like after all is said and done, the army gets absolutely eviscerated for Matador, and Soup gets a gigantic edge in this game as the troll falls as well. Matador pulling back into his main base. Soup to move up to the top corner of the map here as these villagers, where did they go? Does he know? He sees a house up the top. Does he have any clue? He can poke up here and have a look. Let's see. Will he notice? He drops a dwarven mine in his main base, and that's going to bait. That dwarven mine there. What a bait. He's actually put it at the top of the map. Absolutely wild. The Sky Lantern coming up. Oh my god. What a play from Matador. He keeps his dwarves alive. They're going to be out of sight, out of mind in this top position. They can move back over to that gold mine whenever they want. Soup thinks the dwarven mine is in the main base. That's what Soup thinks here. That's not what's going on. The idea now, however, for Soup is very simple. He's got to move forward, put buildings down on this gold mine, put a building down on this gold mine, put a building down on this gold mine, and just get to the next stage or keep pumping. Either way, it doesn't matter. That's what he has to do, because then he'll know where all the stuff is. There's not going to be any ability here for Matador to sneak back over onto this gold mine. This one villager being here is going to be a nice one, as a raiding cavalry moving out, looking for a bit of a raid here. There is a opportunity for Soup to get watchtowers or something like that. How do I know what Soup thinks? I don't know what Soup thinks. That's what I would think. If I was in Soup's position and I see a dwarven mine getting clicked after the fight happens, I would expect all those villages to have been retreated back home. There's Matador moving down into the main base. Oh, dwarves. Where are they sneaking? Soup missing the dwarf movement. The halberdiers in full chase. Heroic Age coming in. It's Golmang. And the dwarves up onto the gold mine now. And this is spotted by Soup. Soup does see the dwarves over here. His halberdiers are not in position. A little bit of a comeback, so to speak. as the villagers can make their way out through this wooden gate here. No problems. There's a nice safety position for him. He turns around. Good to be shanking as a couple of halberdier over here should be more than enough to defend that raid. But at this point, Soup going heroic age, he probably should just wait for heavy. He does not need to take this fight right now. Sure, Matador is going to be fine here. Or Matador, not Soup. Anyways, Matador's going to be able to produce more units, but getting those upgrades, I think, is everything at the moment. Good control from Soup. Gets another couple of snipes onto those Husksuppe here as Soup turns back in onto the fight here, sniping down those frontline units. The chilling onto the back here, as well as the Husksuppe are getting kind of hoodwinked ever so slightly. As the fire archer's sort of missing the Husksuppe as the chillin retreating away. It's almost better to just sit the chillin there and take the attacks. But nonetheless, Trolls getting more attacks in onto this position. There's not that many heroes in, I don't think, for Soup. He's got 2 pioneers, but he's got such an overwhelming force of units as the heroic age hits here. Good control yet again from Soup to pull away from those throwing axemen. As he's charging forward, allows the raiding cavalry in here as well. And Soup pulls back forward with those units, taking out the throwing axemen on the back. Is there enough stuff here? Both players are down to a 50-ish population and everything else. I think Soup may be overcommitting a little. Well, not overcommitting. It's a completely fine fight for both players. But Soup without those upgrades is the thing that's hurting. He's going to be getting himself that vibrant land. He wants to get shaft mine. Farms coming through here as well. As Najjar back out for Soup. Might be enough to help him break through this army, because really what he needs is to take out those trolls on the back. And he's also got the Tao Wu to go 10-pin bowling, takes out that... Well, no, doesn't kill off the Great Hall. I thought he would have killed... Anyways, the Najjar needs to get over on top of those trolls. Now he's going to be pulling them there. Front line going down to the throwing axeman here as well. As the cave troll going down there. Thanks so much, Hubert, for the donation. Appreciate you, my friend. And in that moment there, Matador will decide to tap out as Soup manages to find the dub in this game. I mean, this might be a little bit overly simplistic, but I think the big difference maker here was just units picked before the big fight even. And maybe also Matador maybe shouldn't have been looking for a fight and just been looking for chaos. Like, he's got the fast Husksuppe, he's got the fast raiding cavalry, just sort of play this very much like raiding centric and not actually killing off the main army, going after those reinforcements and things like that. But nonetheless, well played to Soup for game number 1 here. It's a best of 7, guys, so potentially 7 more games to come. This is going to be a lot of fun, I think, as we'll move into game number 2. Stick with me as we get this one sorted out, and we'll get going very shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Alrighty, it's time. We're back. So you guys are ready for some games, I hope. So I've got these guys as drafts here. I've got the players on the wrong side because that's the type of stream you signed up for. But we're back. I changed clothes immediately. Can you believe? Look at this. Look at us go. We're no longer in the brown thing. Put a shoe on my head if it's the real. Okay. Does this count? So yeah, we had some technical difficulties last Sunday. Players asked to do a little bit of a reschedule because time was of the essence. You know, you can't be waiting around all day for someone's shenanigans to get sorted out. But let's give you guys a little bit of a recap here as to what is going to be going down in this Sunday Classic on Friday. Sunday Classic postponed to Friday. We're not changing the name just because we can. You know, that's not what's going to be happening. So we've got ourselves a draft here. So let me walk you guys through this draft for everyone who's just joining in right now. The way that the draft is working at the moment is that we've got both players are going to be having an ace pick at the moment. That's the god pick that they can grab, that their opponent can't ban out or can't pick away from them. So if there's a god that somebody really wants to play with, or a god that somebody thinks is incredibly strong and wants to use that, they will be able to do so. We saw both El Matador and HUSKSUPPE say, we both want Isis as our ace pick. Following this, we saw some bans, as both the Egyptian gods did end up getting banned. We saw Ra and Set getting taken out. And then following on from that, we did see El Matador grabbing up a very quick Odin in this draft. After that, Soup grabbed Frey, Matador grabbed Thor, and then Soup was able to pick 2 gods in a row here. So while El Matador gets to pick his pick of the S tiers at the start of the draft, the second player, the player 2, HUSKSUPPE in this instance, gets to have his picks of the quote unquote mid tiers. In a way to kind of say, well, you know, there's going to be S tiers, there's going to be mid tiers, there's going to be low tiers, right? That's just the way that Age mythology is. And as that's the case, when you're playing a draft, it's important to make sure that things are nice and equal. And the only way to really equalize that is to give both players an opportunity to get their pick of those tiers, so they can be like happy with what they get. So Soup grabs Loki and Fushi. Then Matador grabs his Hades. Soup grabs Noir. And then it's just pick. So Zeus, Kronos, Shenong, Uranus, Poseidon. And yeah, our first game was on Ghost Lake. Our second game is going to be on Tundra. Our third game is going to be on Alfheim. Our fourth game is going to be on Mirage. Our fifth game is going to be on Steppe. Our sixth game is going to be on Nile Shallows. And our seventh game is going to be on Giza. Thank you so much for the $5 as well, Alex Christie, you legend. I appreciate you, my friend. You make it worthwhile. Seriously, appreciate all the support. I will also like to say that today's stream, the prize is actually, we had a donation for today's event from the wonderful Captain N. He has donated an extra $100 for today's prize pool, which is going to be going to the winner and the loser. We are going to have a bit of a split there. And yeah, that's the story there. So this is a $200 Sunday Classic. So a little bit of fun. Beyond all of that, because the series was postponed, these guys were midway through a game, and they'd already picked their game to gods. So we're going to be going in onto Tundra in an Odin versus Loki affair. We did see we actually saw this game attempted twice, and we saw a couple of different strategies and openings coming out of both of these players, which was kind of interesting. So we will see what's going to happen there. But yeah, Odin versus Loki. I think on paper, a lot of people, or at least early on, a lot of people were under the presupposition, the assumption, the thought process that Odin had the advantage in the Norse mirror over all the other Norse gods. But the more we play it, the more, I'm starting to see gods like Loki, gods like Frey, even gods like Thor finding wins against Odin. So it's not as cut and dry at all. Got myself some wine here to help us through in this one. Make sure you guys get yourselves well acquainted with your couch, your office chair, your whatever, your beanbag, whatever your surface that you want to sit on, and get yourself sorted. Cheers, kampai, salud, Aussie wine. Yeah, I got some Margaret. I think it's Margaret River Riesling. Get yourself lubricated. Get yourself well acquainted with what's about to happen, because we've got a best of 7 here. It is 1-0 for Soup though, so it's technically speaking a best of 6, where one player has to get to 3 and the other player has to get to 4 at this stage. So that's the story. Now the players are queued up to start playing right on the hour at 1400 GMT, so in 5 minutes. So I'm just going to rat on about the rest of these maps as we're going to be going in. We've got... So the third map is going to be on Alfheim. So Alfheim, a nice defensive map, very, very good for certain defensive gods to have some sort of an advantage. You know, you've got Soup's got his Frey, Soup's got his Noir. There's also an Isis there as well. Here in France, our vineyards are burning up. We'll be importing your wine soon. Really? Well, I'll tell you what. I love French wine, but if there's a wine in this world that can, you know, kick its weight, like it's sort of like fights above its own weight, you know, the wine from Margaret River, especially like some of the really, really upmarket stuff like Lewin Estate, that's good wine. That is good wine. So if you do ever get your hands on a bottle, definitely give it a go. Now these guys are going to be getting their game ready fairly shortly. So we're just talking about Alfheim. The next one on the list there is going to be Mirage. Now I love Mirage. Mirage is one of my favorite maps because it's a map that I played, or I had a little bit of a hand in creating way back when. I always thought it would be interesting to have some maps that play slightly differently, that kind of take how do I put it? Okay, so on Legacy, it was really easy for certain gods to just run out of food. And then they would just sort of die, right? So I thought it'd be really interesting to have that like Midgard-esque mechanic where both players get access to some fish to kick a game off. And then be able to play on the map a little bit, you know? Obviously, when you put these ideas together, certain strategies come out. Like, for example, there was some Chronos time-shifting stuff to also put pressure onto the water, which was very, very strong. And a whole bunch of other things sort of came out. There was some crazy fast mythic plays from Isis we saw. So there's a lot of spice in your in the whole thing. But I'm very, very excited to see a game on Mirage with whichever gods these guys do decide to go with. Now, Soup does have the Chronos there. So there is a very, very nice idea with time-shifting docks. Now, unlike in Legacy, in Retold, you can time-shift docks anywhere on the map, which is very, very exciting. So you can get some serious pressure done onto a position like that. There is another idea of potentially time-shifting in a tower, which could be absolutely brutal there, but I don't want to give these ideas I don't want to give too many ideas away. We'll see what the players are cooking up for us there. As we're still waiting for them to just kick this one off. But they're about ready to go, so this is going to be a lot of fun. I hope. I should apply for president of Who and Uno. I don't even know what that is. But okay, let's make it happen. Yeah, Sunday Classics on Fridays is the way we go. That's the story. That's the hot topic. But I'm World Health. Really, I don't feel like I'm going to be suited for the World Health Organization at all, to be honest. But these players, they should be getting going very, very shortly. Apparently I look like, now I don't remember the name exactly. It's like Michelle something. Apparently I look like that guy when I have my glasses on. I don't have my, oh, I do have my glasses. If I do this, I look like a certain member of the European thing. Maybe you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm not paying no €1 for no. Stop taking my money. So I don't want to. I'm not paying to pee. That's not going to happen. All right, guys, we're going to be jumping in to game number 2 right now as the players are off to the races, and I am very ready to watch the action unfold. Let's get this show on the road. Boomski, we're back with game number 2. Just naturally, I changed my clothes. We had a shower. I shaved my head. Got my beard, grew a little bit all over this a week of postponing that we've had as these two are ready to go. For a refresher course for everyone joining in right now, we've got Matador in the top of the map. He's going to be going with Odin in this game. And in the bottom of the map, it's going to be the biggest brain in Age mythology himself, Mr. HUSKSUPPE from the Aces team. And he is going to be playing as Loki. So the map is Tundra. And yeah, this is game number 2 for the second Sunday Classic, postponed to Friday. And really, Sunday Classic is just a name. Does not really mean that it needs to happen on a Sunday. It's more just the vibe of the thing. You know what I'm saying? As we do see, holy goat steal. Holy, what the goat steal? No. You gotta bring a villager forward. That's worth it, no? Is he going to bring a villager forward? Surely. Up. He stole them back. Okay. Half goats for one player. He shares. Wait. Whose goats? No, those are... I was here just enjoying things. And these guys did not want to calm at all. They are not starting this game off calm. That's 4 goats for Soup here. So he goes up to 12 as he steals them away from Matador. And Matador is left looking like the fool in this game. But that's what Soup does. That's what Soup does. And Soup now also dropping a spy down on top of the Berserk just to see exactly what's going on there. And I don't think Matador will ever fall for that ever again. One time you lose those goats, and from then on you never, ever, ever fall for it. But what an insane opening there from Soup. He was running forward just to grab the spy on the villagers and then get back out, I imagine. But he got so much value there. Alrighty. So, following this on, let's take a quick look at what the build orders are actually going in. We've got hand axe and pickaxe in for Soup. On the other side, Matador's got himself pickaxe in as well as the villagers are coming up to the top wood line. Temple coming up into the main base. He can share that wood line for the time being here, but he will be wanting to drop a ox cart as soon as he possibly can. What an absolutely insane opening here. We'll see which way Soup is going to want to go for. He's gone Heimdall twice in this matchup thus far. I do think that Heimdall makes some sense, but we'll see what else Soup is going to be throwing at Matador. As Matador says, it's going to be a Freya option, and Soup is going to be advancing through Heimdall. So he does decide to do that. He does have some really, really nice back hunt here with a nice wall over like this and a potential wall over on this side. All of a sudden, this hunt is very, very safe to any of those Valkyrie raids if Soup wants to go that way. He's also going to be pumping out those Ursa, and same too on the top here. We're going to be seeing Matador doing the same. He didn't actually throw up another ox cart. I'm a bit surprised to see that because he is losing. I mean, it's 1 gold every trip, right? So if you're going to keep on doing, it's a roughly 1 gold every trip. Might be even more, to be honest. 2-second walking time maybe. But yeah, if you probably should put the ox cart in for. Anyways, I don't know what's happening. Alrighty, so more houses to come down. Hurst says moving out. Relics on the map. What's been picked up thus far? Soup normally gets some good relics in. He's gotten Thunderclad Shore, which is not going to be that big of an assistance here as the Herser comes forward. Looking to get a little bit of damage done. He can undermine the Great Hall, which is probably what his plan is here. As he retreats back. Poking in here, trying to get that damage done. As the Herser get pulled off. Undermine does get dropped in. Will pick off 1 tower over on this side. And Matador is just going to say, great, time for another great haul over here. No problems as Soup charging in, ready to get just a little bit more damage done. If you can pick up the house, it's going to be a nice little bit of advantage here as the Ironry needs to make sure it stays away from the Hearse. So meanwhile, into the main base, Forest Fire does come down. A Hearse is over here to shoo that Valkyrie away, but good reaction from Soup at that point there as the Hearse charging in, and that will probably be a dead Ironry. As Soup says, no, not just yet. Let me charge back in and maybe stay hanging around for the time being. Population differential at the moment is pretty close here as the Ironry to get that damage done, that special ability in. Does he pick off that low HP one? Not quite able to, trying to take out the Great Hall at the moment, but not going to be able to quite do so. As the Ironry falls, the Hearse will be retreating for the time being here as a villager over here does not go down, manages to pull back. But look at this from Soup. He is so obscenely aggressive with his villagers situation here. And behind all of this, he's got a lot of resources in the bank. He's now only just dropping his longhouses. He said, I'm not going to go for this. I'm just pumping Hearse out of my temple and trying to put pressure on while you're not able to really do a whole lot of stuff. Longhouse coming down, a whole bunch of raiding cavalry coming through for Matador at the moment. As are we going to be seeing, we do see a very quick medium infantry to come through as well. But Soup not defending this forward position. Looks like, does Matador see it? I don't know if he spotted it. I don't know if he spotted it or not. The Raven's just hanging over on this side as the raiding cavalry to come forward. I can't believe Soup gets away with this stuff. As the raiding cavalry come down, they spot the Aurochs here. They're going to be charging in to see the caribou over here, expecting to see some sort of food shenanigans here. He comes over onto this side and says, hang on, you've got no food income anywhere. Where could you possibly be gathering food from at this point? As he takes the opportunity there to pick off all of the caribou before leaving, grabbing just a little bit of favor. Not a huge amount, but just a little bit annoying. There's a couple of herdmen now out, popping up their houses all over the place. Walls coming up to defend this wood line on the front. Love this little wall here. Very, very nice. He can drop a house here as well, and he's completely safe on that wood line for some time. However, now Matador has to know. He has to know that this is where Soup is now. Popping up to the top side here. He can just go after more of these caribou at the moment. Keep on pumping units out. But I think after all is said and done here, Soup is equal. He's equalized on population. He's got himself medium infantry. He's got himself the herdman. He's in a really, really good spot. He's eaten all the hunt on the front, so now he can just pull back into his main base and start thinking about where to next, which could be, how do I secure this gold mine? Does he have himself Rig Stula? Hello? Yes, he does have Rig Stula. He does not have Safeguard just yet. On the other hand here, Matador has got himself that super fast, thundering hooves tech. So these raiding cavalry are moving at 6.6 speed. Valkyrie as well at 6.6 speed. As the Aurochs getting cleaned up on the front here. Raiding cavalry sneaking back in, looking for some villages to take out, but tiny little bits of damage. Will he get a dwarf? He does get one dwarf there as he's going to have to pull back out afterwards. It's not a great trade. They're losing a raiding cavalry and a Valkyrie for two dwarves, but nonetheless, he takes it and then gets out. A Valkyrie, losing the Valkyrie there is probably the bigger loss because now he can't heal up his units. He does have the ability to build another Valkyrie, mind you, and he also has Odin regen, but still, Malkin coming up on the back here for Soup as he goes, well, realistically, I can just go Heroic Age now, right? But does he want to go for Njord or does he want to go for Bragi? If you go Bragi, you know you have to worry about that Skadi from coming in. That can be a bit of a problem. Soup here now finishing up with his gold mine. Is he going to wander over up to this gold over here is the big question. I feel like Soup's made a slight mistake by not dragging the Aurochs underneath his town center to eat in the safety there. But nonetheless, he's going to be chasing the raiding cavalry off, moving up to the top spot here. He does still not have safeguard. Going to drop some military buildings here to try and defend the gold mine as the Ravens coming through here. These Herdmen need to come over and defend the villages as Matador has managed to escape the clutches of those Herdmen for the time being. Gets one pick. Will he get a second one here? Doesn't quite manage to get that second villager pick as he's going to have to pull out there. We are seeing the main base now under siege here as Soup a little bit housed after losing the houses on the front here. Plus, he's obviously trying to get next stage as the Hearser charging in. Got to be careful here as the Herdman onto the back coming through. Big Draugr spawn there. Not the best one for him as the Hearser able to get on top of it. But the fight here going to be ensuing, and it looks like Matador's army is well and truly in the advantage as Soup's just not been training units at the moment. He gets himself a troll spawn as that's not going to be any help here as the Hearser yet again are on top of that myth unit. And Soup in that moment, after all of the genius of that early game, for some reason decides it's time to take a fight over here, and he just can't find the win. The story is all about military resource value and unspent resources. Take a look at this. 1,500 in the bank here, 1,300 in the bank here. He starts spending them here. So at this point, this is where Matador spent 500 versus 11 or 1,200. Those are the resources in the bank at the end of that fight, basically, in my opinion. And that's why Matador breaks through. I think if Soup was either continuing to spam, just got watchtowers and hid in his base, or put a watchtower over here and went heroic age, that would have been a perfectly reasonable way to play. But trying to half do both things, that's those big mistakes that happen in an Norse mirror. But nonetheless, game 2 to Matador. We'll move into game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, see what they're going to be going for. Hope you guys are enjoying, and let's get that next game going. Alrighty. Got ourselves a little cheeky god picker coming through. As we'll see who these guys are going to play going into game number 2. So we are in onto the map Alfheim. So game 2 update. Over here we have a win for the Odin and a lose for the Loki. Do the players pick God in blind without knowing what the other player... Yes. Yes. Alrighty, so we're going to have a Shenong versus Nuwa on map 3 here. Shenong versus Nuwa on map 3. Smack. And a very equal series now after all is said and done. So yeah, Shenong versus Nuwa. Kind of wild. So in the recent patch, this matchup was really difficult for Nuwa because there wasn't a fantastic answer to the Yartser, with the exception of maybe trying to get to the Mythic Age for your Mythic Age hero. So I guess we'll wait and see what's going to happen in this one. I mean, oftentimes the advantages are so small that it doesn't even matter anyways. We ever get a stream where I play piano? Maybe if you're very lucky. All right, let's get game number 3 on the way. As we jump in to game number 3, in the left-hand corner, we've got the Shenong of Matador up against the Noir of Soup. So first game there going Soup's way. Second game going Matador. Both very, very close here to make their way through this series. Moving in onto another map here. This is Alfheim. A somewhat open Alfheim. Sometimes you can get an Alfheim which is just ridiculously difficult to move around, but there's not a whole lot of cliffs in the center. There are cliffs on the side. You can wall off the sides like this pretty simply over here, but it's going to be difficult to get those like multiple wall sort of blockages which players can do set up. But nonetheless, there's a lot of options here for these players to go for. So to break it down a little bit, the two god choices here for Shenong are Chio and Hao-Tu, right? Those are the two god choices. On the other side, Soup has got Zhennu and Hao-Tu. So they both have Hao-Tu. However, Shenong here does not want to go into a game where he is getting the same stuff that Noir is getting. If both of these players go the same god path, what will end up happening is the Noir will come out in front because of economically because of the hero Quaofu that comes from this tech here. So the only real good answer here for Matador is to go for Chi-Yo and try and make something happen with lightning weapons, with Yatsu, and with a whole bunch of stuff. But this is a very defensive map. So what's the other option? What's the final option here? Well, you could go Chi-Yo into very quick siege. Siege and push could be the idea here. Locking off the map, forcing your opponent into one position, and then a big siege and push sort of option. Now, I guess on top of this, denying a second talent center, very, very tricky here, as the Noir has got so much advantage, so to speak, as he's going to be advancing nice and quick. Going to have himself the Quaofu hero to defend. Also going to be having a earth wall that he can drop down. On the other side here, let's have a quick look at what's happening. Any sort of upgrades. No upgrades coming through for Matador, so he's just doing some stock standard shenanigans here. Villagers getting pulled off to jump over onto the wood, leaving a handful of villagers on food at the moment. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with his villagers here as he is now finally moving over, leaving 3 there. But we can see that Soup's plan is very obvious. He wants a town center, but the question is which town center? So do you run forward and grab this one? Or do you go over here and grab this one? If you grab this one, another option would be to wander forward here, drop a silo on this side, and then drop yourself earth wall around this spot, which will claim you or a house here, so you can block this and all of this, right? That's what you would arguably be wanting if you're going for this right town center, because that gives you access to this, access to this, access to this, and it'll be very, very nice. However, Soup says, no, we're just going to go for the forward town center here and try and make this work. Now, any sort of earth wall on this position is probably going to be wanting to use it again over on this side to block this all off, but also hitting the town center. So somewhere like here will be really, really good. So you can send the clay peasant over, build a house, and then drop the thingamajiggy on that left side. Nonetheless, we are seeing the Quaofu coming forward for Matador, so both players accepting that it's going to be a bit of a 2TC game. There is one other option here for Matador inside of this sort of a situation, which is 2TC, classical, all-in. So the idea here is that you're going to catch your opponent out trying to boom and be able to take them down before any of the crazy stuff comes through. As the Cheongchi in the main base, causing some problems. Over onto this side, Pioneer does spot the town center. So both players with a similar town center in the middle. One idea here for Soup, actually, in seeing this, is to just rush straight for Gold Mang. put a ballet down and put an archery or a machine workshop down. And then immediately start pumping out, or 2 machine workshops, and immediately start pumping out those ballista, those crossbows, those siege weapons to start taking the town center down. Meanwhile, into the main base, however, the Yatsa raids have begun. Soup has to be a little bit careful here, as he's going to be running all over the map, grabbing all the hunt. This is very, very dangerous. If Matador can spot this, which unfortunately he does not see the hunt in the corner there, so he's not going to know to do that. But if he can get over there, that's going to be a lot of dead villagers as the Pioneer comes over. Does have himself that feather of Jingwei, which is going to be boosting up the wood income ever so slightly. As Abundance coming in, Hand Axe coming in, Husbandry coming through. On the other side, we see the Temple getting that upgrade for the Yatsa, the son of Lung. That's the Yatsa just going to pull back, heal themselves up with the bonus that Shenong's got, which is an extra 5 HP per second there, which is always nice. A couple more relics on the map. Head of Orpheus in the middle there. I think that's the only one left. Not the best of relics, but definitely worth picking up, if not just for the favor income. A little bit of extra building line of sight will help with everyone running through, as the Yatsa saying, I want to get on top of these villagers here. They will be retreating back into the town center to get away from this, as the Yatsa dive in underneath the town center, but it's not fast enough to snipe the villagers this time. They have been nerfed, and I am very rejoiceful about that. However, Earth Wall getting dropped in here. We also see a little cheeky military barracks to come through as well. The Yatsa do have a dash here. Great usage of that Earth Wall, as Soup manages to pick one of them off. Plus, you've got a nice little thing over here, so if you jump over the Earth Wall, the wooden wall, the Earth Wall's there to deny. But a really nice defense from Soup, as Matador pulling out of there up onto this spot. The Yatsa yet again searching for some damage there. There's the military camps coming through, farms coming up. Shenong's farm there getting, or Prosperous Seeds getting dropped down to make those Shenong farms. For those you don't know, these guys gather at 0.92 food per second on those farms, as opposed to on a cow, 0.79, or on hunt, for example, at 0.8. So a huge, huge, huge advantage to be on those Shenong farms at this sort of a situation. As the slight pressure coming through here now for Soup. Getting just a little bit of damage done onto those villagers, as the Yatsa riding on over to this position here, looking for some Huaofu snipes. Nice reaction there from Soup, as these Yatsa are now going to be somewhat of a problem. They've got the fully upgraded lifesteal effect, so if they can find their way to something to kill here, they're going to be in a good spot. Over here, he sees the caribou. The villagers are on that, as is classic for Soup, as he does spot these Yatsa coming over here. The Cheongchi will end up falling, as the rest of these pioneers coming over here trying to help out. The villagers here have to be very, very safe here as well. You've got to run in a straight line towards the pioneers. Does he get the kill? 6 HP. The pioneers are blind. They've been drinking at the pub. They can't hit their mark there. And he gets out of there. But behind this, we actually see Rashol coming through for Soup, which is a little bit odd. The reason why this is a little bit odd is he doesn't have access to Huang Di. So he's taking into infantry, where his opponent can also do the same thing. This is kind of the opposite of what Shenong has, right? Like the opposite problem. You can't go Hal 2 because then you're playing an economic guild with an economic god. Soup's going now infantry against an infantry god. That's kind of wild. He could go the other way and say, I'll go for infantry and also go for fire archers by going for the, what's the guy called? I can't remember. The one that gives the Phoenix. Could go that way. That makes a little bit of sense, actually. So maybe that's his grand plan. Go Dallas Swordsman, Fire Archer, and try and make that work going into the late stage of the game. There's the Pioneers retreating back, trying to keep themselves alive. If he can snipe down those Pioneers at the back there with his town center, he might be able to just drop Fey Beasts in and be completely safe here. As the Pioneers popping over here. Baihu using that special. Is it going to go down? One more shot. One more shot. Does manage to take that one out. But a whole bunch of villagers idled at the moment from this attack. Hurting quite a bit. Soup is hurting quite a bit here. Still trying to just pop in, pop out, get that damage done. As one Yatsa ends up falling there. There is still this option of dropping Fey Beasts here. I'm surprised to see him not just going to do that. Like, pick off the 2 Pioneers. There he goes. Targets 1 Pioneer down. Going to target the next one. And he doesn't even need to. He can just drop Fey Beasts at the moment if he feels like it. It's a huge amount of kills for him if he so chooses. But he is building Dow Swordsman into his military camps at the moment. Heroic Age now coming through the other way as 2 Baihu searching for some stuff. We'll be able to take out a Yatsa over here. This seems to be the actual idea here from Soup. He wants Baihu to deal with the Yatsa here. As the heavy Dow Swordsmen are now in. Got to be so careful with the Baihu because those Yatsa are doing big, big damage at the moment. No special abilities to come through. Does manage to get one there with the special attack, but both Baihu are now down as a ballet going to be getting dropped down for Soup. Matador pulling back as the military camps starting to get placed all over the place. Now, the problem here now for Soup is he just spent a huge amount of favor on Baihu, and he's not going to be able to get these techs. Whereas on the other hand, Matador, he can at least get one of these techs at the start. So it's a big amount of timing here, so to speak, for Matador in terms of having that extra tech in. Not only that, there's not a huge amount of heroes in for Soup. He doesn't even have himself the Imperial Academy to get himself out that Jiangxia, which can be a very, very big help against Fey Beasts. As Divine Judgment on the way now for Matador. And for Soup, he actually says Gilded Shields. Gilded Shields over Divine Judgment at the moment. There's no real Fire Archers out for either player here. As the wall going to get broken down, but another wall to come up behind this one. There's a couple of villagers now getting pushed off for these berries. Matador is well and truly safe at the moment with his farms, right? He's got so many farms up. Soup, on the other hand, has a huge amount of food. It's kind of looking like he's trying to get to the Mythic Age at the moment. With the ballet up, he might be totally fine to do this. There's no Gilded Shields in, right, for these Dow Swordsmen. He's now getting himself Divine Judgment. So they don't tank that much against the ballet. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of Fire Archers actually coming through here for Soup at the moment. But nonetheless, Fey Beasts does get dropped down for both players here, as the lightning weapons also going to come through for Matador, as he is seemingly inching out an advantage here against Soup. Soup way too far behind on military at the moment. The army very low on HP. Could have tried to garrison away into the ballet there, keep his army a little bit alive, but nonetheless not going to be able to be doing that just yet, as ballet number 1 ends up falling. Soup has to pull back, and he's now in a very difficult position. And I think all of that might have come down to Divine Judgment a little bit, as well as just not having the units out. He would have been able to hold that otherwise. But nonetheless, Matador going to be making a big push in to take this position out over here. Getting himself his Shaft Mine technology. Full spam ahead, it seems. He's only got himself the one Quailfu at the moment, it looks like, on gold. Where's the other one? Does he have another one? He's literally got one Quailfu, it looks like. Absolutely wild. All spend all the way. As a town center for Soup will end up falling. There's still a little bit of fight left in this one for Soup here, as he does queue up. There it is, Zhurong. I forgot what it was, but Zhurong to come through. I'm not saying this isn't going to work, but I don't see Zhurong taking down an army of this size. Villagers getting pulled back. A ballet coming up onto this side. Military workshops nowhere to be found at the moment. Actually, if Soup can get out enough of those Firebirds, he might be able to hold. But Huang Di is pre-queued now. As the Baihu dives in here, we'll pick off his friend, his brethren behind that one. Is the ballet now up? As Soup still desperately trying to hold on here. If he can keep the ballet up, then he can use the flames, the prairie, the burning prairie, whatever it is. You can use that god power here to try and hold this position for just a little bit longer. As the main base starting to get opened up as well. Is there any machine workshops up anywhere? Still don't see them. But Matador still trying to break through at the moment as the villagers to pull away from the ballet here. He does got a hefty amount of units out to defend for the time being. I mean, will he want to just drop it on top of this potentially as a completely different angle? As the ZQ is now in. And look at this damage to come down onto the front. Wait, where is he going with it? What's the plan? There we go. There's the damage. So much pain onto this front here. If you get enough of these bad boys out, it's so strong. They have slash and burn queued up as well as champion infantry. But Soup does not appear to be in a situation that he can deal with what Matador is doing. There's a couple of pioneers to come through to deal with this UQ here after all is said and done. Quailfu moving their way back over onto this gold mine. Soup's trying to hang on. Does lose his big Firebird, but he is down 80 population here. I still can't believe we haven't seen that machine workshop or 3 getting thrown up here and just making fire archers. Obviously, these are heavy Dao swords when they got high pierce armor, but still. I mean, like, hoplites, you got high hack armor, but you still build counter infantry into them, right? Counter hack infantry, you know, to throw an axe on or whatever. As in that moment there, Soup will decide the game is lost. And he's not able to stay alive. I mean, was this one just as simple as getting out like 10 fire archers and potentially also going, instead of going for that fast gilded shields, going for the fast divine judgment, or prioritizing that one a little bit over the other? Because the favor just wasn't there for Soup. Maybe not building that second Baihu, and he would have had both of them, and it would have been completely fine regardless. But nonetheless, Matador manages to win the China Mirror here, ladies and gentlemen. It's currently 2-1. It is a best of 7. We're moving into game number 4 next. Hope you guys are having a fantastic time hanging out with me, and we'll get that next game going right now. The heroic archer is never used. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you have to go over here. All right, so we're going in now onto the map Mirage. So that was a win for the Shenong. And a lose for the Noir. 4. Okay. Yeah, how's everyone going, guys? I'm doing well at the moment. This series is delivering on all of the different angles that I can see. So what a time to be alive. Why did I read something of you in Germany? Was I in Germany? No, don't think so. Did I get raided from something? Did someone raid me? Ah! I need to figure out how to get those notifications into this restream thing. Oh well. All right, let's get into game number 4. Oh, King May, thank you so much for the raid. Is that May Shadowfax? Appreciate you, my friend. Okay, let's go. Alrighty, game number 4 here as we're going to be moving in onto the map Mirage. In the left-hand corner, we do have Matador playing as Zeus. And in the right-hand corner, we've got Soup playing as Frey. I call him Frey because he calls it Frey. And he is the Nordic guy. He's the Norse guy. So we have to sort of pay... We have to accept his pronunciation, I guess. Alrighty. So we're on the map Mirage. And this one you might remember from way back at Red Bull Wallaloo. This was our Age Mythology Retold first S-tier tournament. This map was in that little pack of maps that they played on. I love this map. This map's so much fun. You get hyper accelerated food income, super aggressive because of all the forward gold mines, and a lot of excitement to come in this one. Yes, exactly, Ragnarok. So this is where we saw the first big Ragnarok fail at the tournament stage, where Rappel decided to go for a big fat Ragnarok against Recon, and Recon held very, very nicely. Is this map imbalanced, you think? No, I don't. I think this map is incredibly balanced. It's just that players don't like water maps that much. This is barely a water map, though. The thing is, in order to play on this map, and the reason why it's probably not suitable for ranked, is you need a build order that is different from all the other maps. Now, obviously, you need that for Mediterranean, and you need that for Anatolia, and you need that for Midgard. So I don't really get the argument, but you do need a specific build order for this map to have some success. Otherwise, if your opponent has one and you don't, then you could end up just simply being behind from the get-go because your opponent's got their fishing ships out and they're attacking you, and you're still trying to scramble to get everything worked out. But nonetheless, we'll see how this one is going to go. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do here, from running around the side, dropping a dock here, maybe dropping a second dock or a third dock up here, then deleting to get the free Kraken out, to start harassing over here. You know what I mean? Some fun stuff like that. Early hill forts and things like that can be really, really strong. I'm very excited to see which way Matador is going to be taking this, because normally the advantage that Zeus has on a map like Midgard or Anatolia, less so Anatolia, a map like Midgard or Kurlauga, for example, is that you get to use that Skylar in conjunction with a big bronze push. And you get so much value from it. It's so hard to sort of survive against that power spike. Now, what you can do here with Frey well, you don't get the Skylar in this situation, right? But what you can do with Frey is you've got yourself Tempest, which is enough of a defensive support god power, and you've got Gul and Bursty that you really don't have that much to worry about against the bronze push. So this game becomes much more about sort of the early late game, or like the timing going into the Mythic Age. So we'll see. We'll see how things are going to go as villagers pulling back off the food. It's looking to me, I could be wrong here, but it's looking to me like Matador might be just rushing up a second town center here, which is very risky. Now, if Soup reacts to this in an aggressive way, Matador could be in a lot of trouble. Why? Because of the hyper accelerated food income. That's the reason why. You're going to be able to put so much more pressure on so much faster with Ram all-ins. Now, Matador might not be going for a fast second town center. He might just be going, I need a lot on gold, I need a lot on wood, because I'm going to be dropping my military buildings and starting to put some pressure on. Does get himself the Cicero Bast. He also does need to have the wood and gold to get this tech in as well, straight away. So that's important there as well. But the villagers making their way forward, and yeah, this is going to be a town center. So Soup needs to scout this out and make his decision really quickly. He does have two options. One is to go for the Ram all-in, which may or may not work. I imagine it's stronger on this map than on a regular map. That's I imagine. I don't know. I'm more like my theory crafting on how the whole thing sort of works out. And the other option is to simply just say, all right, let's grab our own second town center and a third town center behind it, and we're just going to go for a big boom defense against whatever comes next. As we do see a military academy coming up for Matador, this is the classic defense on town centers. Dropping military buildings around your town center to just defend it all up. As the Minotaur coming up to the top side, looking for a little something here to raid. This is a classic Matador. I've seen him do it so often. He loves just sending that one around the back and then just hopefully waltzing into the main base and getting some damage done. But all the villagers are at the front here. Jason does come in and scout it out. And we are going to be seeing here, Soup does not want to mess around with anything. He says, hey, if you're going town center, I'll go town center. I don't mind chasing you on this one. It's not a problem. I got a handful of dudes out. He's going to be spamming out all of them, as well as the Minotaur coming through. Will Soup notice this is the big question. Does a little bit of a drive-by. No alert. So if Soup wasn't watching his minimap and didn't check, he's not going to have any idea. Now the Minotaur coming in. The Hursar all out of position. And Soup does notice it here. Good reaction there for that one, as one villager gets headbutted into the town center, gets a little bit of a concussion before deciding to garrison in there, pulling off over onto the wood here afterwards. And the game continues along. Soup does already have himself his boosted fishing gather rate from getting his technology, whereas on the other side here, Matador, not yet. He's getting himself pickaxe, hand axe. He does have that pre-queued up, so we'll come through very quickly. As the hoplites are now going to beat down at the front door of Soup. Now, one thing Soup hasn't got up yet, which he's probably going to be regretting, is the hill fort. Because there are going to be Toxotes coming. As the Hurso coming over here. A little bit of a fight. Can just take some villagers off here and start repairing up the temple. It's free to do so. Sure, you lose the resources for not gathering, for idling your villager, but still makes life a little bit less scary there as the hoplites getting pulled back and Soup looking very much like he wants to go to the heroic age here. Whereas on the other hand, Matador a little bit slow on that one because he's got a lot of units out. So the Hursa charging in. Soup going to be retreating. He does get kind of caught out. You've got to be so careful against this Greek army. It's so quick. 4.9 speed. This is a big, big win here for Matador at the moment. Huge amount of deaths there as the army going to be pulling back into the main base. We've got the armory coming up over here for Soup. As on the left side, I mean, where to next? We just see A-Gear queued up. More units coming through for Matador at the moment. But this is the calm before the storm here. Still no hill fort. I wouldn't mind seeing it just getting placed here, to be honest. Right on top of the town center. That way, no huge attack onto this position is going to be a problem. He's got watchtowers to defend his main base. He's got the hill fort or potential hill fort there to defend the second town center, and he should be completely fine there. Because now A-Gear is queued up. Which town center is he going for? The main town center there is a throwing axeman, dodging those Toxotes shots there on the way back home. Temple will get sniped down here. I don't think Soup can realistically defend this, but he can snipe a couple of units while this is going on. As the Minotaur charges in, that's going to get sniped down there nicely. Good snipe there from Soup as he's going to attempt to keep his temple alive. The relics. Huh? Oh, the relics drop there. Okay, they're just... I'm colorblind. The relics drop down. There's a great haul getting popped up over here. Soup trying to delay here. These dwarves can make a bail for the town center over here if need be. Soup is going to try and wait as long as he can for that heroic age Gulen Bursty. But Matador, he doesn't want to stay close to it. He knows what's coming for himself. He says, I don't need to do anything just yet. One idea would be to try and force it, retreat back with restoration, and then continue to fight. The Great Hall is now up. Still no Asgardian Bastion. I don't know what Soup was thinking here. I don't think he's got the time to put it down anymore. Which does mean very, very... He needs to effectively win a fight and then put it down, which is going to be very, very tough for him. And alternatively, up to the top, he could try and go for that. As the Tempest coming through, the Gulen Bursty coming in, the army retreating back. We will be seeing the couple of units getting left for dead here. As Soup trying to chase down, trying to get as much damage as he possibly can with this double god power usage. But a great defense here from Matador as he is going to pull all the way back into his main base. However, Soup needs to get back here and get that hill fort up. He can't overcommit on this. Just leave the Gulen Bursty to attack, get that fortress up and call it a day because he needs to start thinking about how he is going to deal with the next army that's going to be coming in. And there we go with the Asgardian Bastion right into the center of the map to kind of limit any sort of movement here. Now, with Apollo coming through for Matador, however, there will be a underworld up to this top spot. That's scary. there will also be a fortress to start being able to siege down this Asgardian hill fort. Meanwhile, over here, the temple going to be taken down by Matador. There's a couple more buildings starting to come through here. Over onto this side, villagers repairing up the temple as Soup swinging through, looking for any amounts of raids, but a cheeky little wall to come through as a nice defensive reaction to this shenanigans here. Do you see the Kraken was deleted here, I think? Oh no, he hasn't hit the heroic age just yet. It says that Rock Giant in to help out. But I think Soup's gotten through the early game. However, he doesn't have any sort of answers to what's going to be coming for him. He's definitely going to take some damage from a Pegasus coming forward soon. But Hell, pre-queued up, an interesting idea. Instead of going in for the Inferno for the stronger units, he wants Hell for the Nidhogg. So he can actually just take out the army. Now, an answer for the Nidhogg is to get up to 100 favor and use Restoration. Restoration, plus all your heroes out, will keep all your units alive against the Nidhogg. It's a good counter there for Zeus and for Hades. There's little bits of pressure on over to this one as the Pegasus will be spotting this. And that will be an underworld over here, I'm sure, to come down as Soup notices it. He's pulling back immediately. And I don't even think he's going to be like, I barely lost anything. Couple of villages here for a god power. I'll take that. That is perfectly fine. However, on the front, we are going to be seeing the hoplites coming in, and they're going to be erasing the Asgardian Bastion as Soup here is kind of getting a little bit out multitasked, so to speak. He's got himself his third town center up. He has to come up here and deal with the underworld. He might lose this town center over here, but as long as he doesn't lose the main one, he should be totally fine. As the underworld to go down, picking off a couple of units while that's all going on. As the Great Jarl's starting to get into the mix here. And Soup going to be making his way over here to start helping out as well. We don't see a Mythic Age on the way just yet for Matador. But the army is looking mightily fierce here. As Soup losing houses pre-fight. He does have full pop. No, he doesn't. He's missing houses. Has to pull off the gold mine for the time being. Going to be moving up to the top side here as the Rock Giant not able to get that taunt off just yet. More buildings falling here. Soup in a bit of a trouble with infrastructure. He needs to get these buildings back up and he realizes it. Going to be dropping them on the front here as Hell is seconds away, ready to drop this straight on top of this army here as the army does split off here and bolt there onto the Rock Giant as these hoplites will get chased down. And does Soup know what he needs to do? Going to sacrifice a couple of units here. He doesn't need to use the special just yet. Getting so much damage onto those hoplites as Matador is now going to have to pull all the way back. However, the Nidhogg does his little bit of a Hail Mary shot there. Gets a huge amount of damage done onto the army yet again. Look at the resources in the bank at the moment now for Soup. But Matador, he's now going to be able to advance to the Mythic Age through Hera. And he's going for Temple of Healing. If he gets a forward temple up, he can heal up those units. That can be an idea. He spotted a nice little position for the fortress here to claim this gold mine. But better yet, getting some Petropolis in to potentially siege this town center. Not a bad idea. Another hill fort coming up on the right-hand corner here. Another hill fort on the left. 2 temples as well to start pumping out those fire giant. There's a lot of favor in the bank right now for Soup here. Let's have a little quick look at what the cost of Frey's gift is. 45 favor there for that one. And that's only going to get cheaper as these technologies start to come through. He's actually grabbing himself Granite Blood and Rampage. I mean, Rampage takes so long to grab. I don't even know if it's worth it. 100 seconds. Obviously, Granite Blood is good. But, like, how many giants can he get out? Let's do some quick math. 28. So we can get 3 or 4 giants out at, does it tell me how much time? At 24 seconds. It's probably about fine. It's probably about fine. But nonetheless, with Hera comes Lightning Storm, which will be a little bit of an equalizing move. But more importantly, as the Nidhogg flying in catches the villagers and stuns them, that's not what normally happens there. They don't get stunned. I think they just were in pure shock of what was going on. But more importantly, Matador gets access to Bellerophon, which is a really big counter to the Fire Giant. But nonetheless, pulling back for the time being is the Heracles chasing down the Nidhogg, but that now the Heracles is going to get caught out here. Slowly start getting taken down. We do see that Super's got 2 armories for the time being, getting himself that Ballaster in as Lightning Storm getting dropped down onto this position. And Soup pulling forward. I mean, he's going to lose any... He does manage to get himself pretty safely away here, as the Nidhogg has to pull all the way back into the main base. But now the army coming in, and the game has completely flipped here, it seems, in terms of advantage. Look at the population advantage now for Soup, as Matador gets himself out Soup gets himself out a huge amount of Fire Giants, throws those balls of fire on top of the hoplites there, but not able to take them down in that moment. I'm not exactly sure if they missed or what was happening there, or maybe... Do they do hack? They do hack, so that's why they don't do that much damage to the hoplites. They got a huge amount of hack armor. As the Bellerophon is in, and that's going to be some big damage done onto those units. Soup here needs to get himself up to full pop. He does have a hefty... He doesn't have that many buildings still. This is always the problem with Norse when you're playing against Zeus. He's going to continue to kill off your buildings and make your life very, very difficult. But the Bellerophon cleaning stuff up over here. Huge amounts of thrown axemen in queue, as he's going to try and get another hill fort up onto this backside. He's grabbing himself the Godis here as well to try and deal with the Medusa, deal with the Manticore. Over onto this side, a cheeky little hill fort coming up outside of the line of sight there of Matador. A villager might be able to spot this. If he does notice it, the Petropolis can come over there. We'll see if Matador is going to be able to... He does notice it, and he does have to pull off a couple of units there to get over there and deal with that one. But a hill fort is up over on this side. And Soup's got 7,000 resources in the bank right now. He's got to spend these somehow. He absolutely needs to spend these somehow. Hill fort is 12 seconds from completion at the moment. There's a little cheeky wall coming up over here. A couple of hoplites coming through to deal with this as well. That's the army for Soup onto this side, trying to take a fight yet again. Look at the queue here for Soup. I can't say it enough. I mean, he's just got to take some units here, get some berserks in, and just throw buildings down. Just absolutely throw them down as fast as he possibly can, as the Nidhogg here now will finally fall. But huge amounts of value there. The villagers have managed to find themselves a gold mine here. A fortress coming up as well. And Soup now getting himself his infrastructure back up. Petropolis going down onto this side. Soup, there's no point in taking a fight right now until he can have that full population army. Especially if he can get himself... Does he have his big upgrade? Especially if he can get himself that Frey's gift. The restoration coming through for Matador is going to be huge. As Soup needs to pull back. Bellerophon going to get pulled back as well. He can pull that over onto a temple and get it healed up with that Temple of Healing if he's feeling like he doesn't have the gold to rebuild it there. Walls coming back up over onto this right-hand corner. Soup moving forward to grab this gold mine in the middle of nowhere. Very, very risky, but he needs to do it because that's the only gold left. He has to think about a trade route as well here. Because, I mean, if this game goes to the point where both players have got no trade and no gold income, no mine, this does favor the Zeus because he's going to be able to just chuck everyone onto favor and make wood-costing Medusa there. Nonetheless, Soup's got himself a couple more hill forts up. He is missing that Feast of Renown, so not getting that HP regen, which is the big reason why hill fort spam is so good with Frey. Meanwhile, a couple of berserks coming in here. Going to try and throw up some cheeky little walls, but has been denied for the time being there. Is Soup missing a house? Ah, there it is. Soup missing a house, but he's going to have to just push in and just deal with it. The solution here is just to say, hey, let me just lose some pop so that I can get more dudes out. But these Jarls doing a huge amount of tanking, but great control from Matador to snipe down that back line there. And Soup definitely going to be needing some Huskal here to break through that amount of stuff here. Has this been spotted? I don't think it's been spotted just yet. Meanwhile, Soup's now got himself a handful of portable rams here as well. Those are huge for two reasons. One, they're killing off the buildings, but two, they also are tanking up that pierce damage from Matador. He's going to be able to break through this fortress pretty quick as well. Bellerophon coming in. There's still huge amounts of wood in the bank here. There's Bellerophon to dive forward. Great control from Matador here, pulling the Peltast in on top of those throwing axemen there. Soup not really caring about losing them for the time being, as he will be able to continue breaking through here. The Peltast going to go down in the middle over onto this side. Cheeky little... Oh, Cheeky Temple is up. He wants the Fire Giants, but he doesn't have the population. But it does look like in that moment there, Matador does decide to tap out. And the series stays leveled here after game 4. As Soup wins this one with some... I would say some questionable resource spending habits. But he does manage to make it work. He gets the dub. And the game will, and the series gets to continue along here. Well played there to Soup. We'll move into game number 5. Hope you guys are having a fantastic time hanging out, watching these Age Mythology games, as we'll get into game number 5 as soon as these players are ready. So the next one is on Step. Thanks so much for the prime there, Werther89. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much. Alrighty, so we've got ourselves... this one done. Schmack. Over here, we've got ourselves as well. Zeus Death and a Frey Victory. Okay. Looks like we're going to have just a slight break here at the moment, as one of our players is going to go to the toilet, and I'm going to take that opportunity here to run to the kitchen and get some water. I'll be right back. Wow. Who's has a song for me to play? Does he now? We're a professional stream here. Wow. Guess I'm an unprofessional. So many good Nidhogg Rs. Did you learn the Nidhogg R trick from me? I worked it out. Maybe Soup would have already known it. I imagine Soup knows these things. I worked it out. I worked out how to do a Nidhoggar. While we're waiting for the next game, I want to show you guys how to Nidhoggar. I feel like that's a good use of our time here because... Hang on, let's do this. I'll show you guys how to do a good Nidhoggar. Are you guys ready? I need to make a short on this, to be honest. Okay. Let me just jump over onto... Let me jump over onto this screen. Okay. So, the problem is... Well, it's not a Nidhogg R. It's a Nidhogg Q. But anyways, it's the ultimate. The ultimate of the Nidhogg. So, a lot of people would go, okay, there's an army here. Actually, let's get an army. Let's get an army. We're going to get back into this game very, very shortly. When these guys are ready to go, we'll be in. So don't worry, we're not going to miss out on anything. So hold on, we'll just get some tox. Okay, this is how you Nidhoggar. All right. So a lot of people, hello. A lot of people would do this, and they click on the thing where they want to go, and they get very upset to find out that, oh, it's he's going to fly all the way over there before he clicks. What you want to do is you want to click right next to where the blue circle is, whichever direction you want to go in. And that way, you go immediately onto the units. There you go, Nidhogg abuse. That's the big secret. All right, let's get into this next game. All right, these guys are now doing their little cheeky draft or their god pickup. I still don't know the correct way to calculate the damage the attack does. I don't know. How do we do Son of Osiris abuse? Lots and lots of Migdols. Lots and lots of Migdols. Or Siege Towers. Anything that the Son of Osiris can garrison into it. That's the secret. Okay, we got everyone's favorite right now. Everyone's favorite. So this here is going to be... Game 5. Game 5. It's going to be a Hades versus Uranus on the map step. A Hades versus Uranus on the map step. So that's exciting. A nice openish map for Uranus to get really aggressive. Generally speaking, there's no hunt that spawns on top of a town center. It's very, very tough to be able to grab that hunt early on. So there is a lot of room here for the Uranus player to go into Mass Murmillo and punish any sort of 2TC Hades play. So we might actually see the Hades need to go one town center on this one. This is... In my experience, this type of map, Uranus is pretty good on. So we'll see if he's going to be able to make it work against the might of Hades or not. But also, we'll have to wait and see what Soup's plan is. And I didn't break it. Good. Happy days. All right. Off we go. Let's jump in to game number 5. All right, let's go. Bam. Alrighty, game number 5. Yay! We've got ourselves an equal series here going into the final 3 games. Effectively a best of 3 from this stage onwards. In the left-hand corner, we do have Matador playing as Hades. And in the right-hand corner, it is Soup playing as Oranos. The purple Oranos. He's feeling a little bit funky. He's shaking off a little bit of his pre-game antics, and he's like, I want to play something with a little bit of spice in it, a little bit of color. And he does do that. So we'll see how this one's going to go. Now, I was talking about this already. This map Step is nice for pressure. So one thing here is the Hades probably with a maybe not against Hades, against Rise. Anyways, the Hades can kind of go for that forward second town center if he wants to, or a back second town center if he wants to, either way. But if he does either of those, all of a sudden this hunt, this hunt, all the hunt on the map is very well exposed. These boar, even those boar are exposed. Now, obviously, a wall on the back, you could make this very easy to grab afterwards, but that's very breakable. And there's also a little pathway through on this corner as well that might catch an opponent off guard once or twice. So there's a lot of room here for aggression. So a very defensive Hades is going to be difficult to make happen here, I would have to imagine. So we'll see if Soup is going to go that route. There is a completely different angle to go for, which is where you also decide to go for your own fast second town center and try and make something happen after that, especially given how open the map is. So if you go fast second town center, oftentimes the Hades player is going to want to say, hey, you went TC, let me go Heroic Age, which will then let you get some immediate pressure onto your opponent in the Classical Age, and then you can play some sort of a Heroic Age thing. But a little bit difficult to pull all of that stuff off. So we'll see how it's all going to go. Meanwhile, some relics over here. We've got Pandora's Box with the myth units. Favor cost going down. Always nice there. There is one strategy that we haven't seen in a while, which used to be really good. I'm surprised to see it. I don't know why it actually fell out of favor so much. I know the Promethean got nerfed a bunch, but the Promethean spammage used to be a Soup stock standard. He would go a huge amount of Prometheans. I think because the Hades heroes got boosted quite a bit, it made the strategy maybe a little bit less, or not Hades, but the Greek heroes made that strategy a little bit less potent, but it's still something in that kit there that I know Soup knows how to do, and he is going to be getting some early oracles out, so he might be deciding to go for this funkiness here. As he does see Hestia's Hearth, minus 5% villager train time here, helping out that economy by just a little bit. That's going to be really, really nice there as well. Relics over here. We've got I've already talked about Pandora's Box. Up on the top side, we've got Trojan Gate Hinge. Not going to be the biggest of relics on this map. And so we've also got the Osberg Wagon, which can come in handy much later. This relic here could be all Oranos needs to kind of equalize a little bit into the late game. You know, get a little bit of boosted trade rate, and that could be enough for an advantage there. But we do actually see the Ares coming through for Matador. I almost said Ares coming through for Matrius. If you know that meme, you know that meme. It's a bit old, a bit dated. I know memes go in and out, like yesterday's breakfast. But it's going to be some Ares action. And Soup is going Oceania. So he does have access to mass heroes to deal with whatever Matador is going to be going for here. Now, in terms of economy, it does not look like Matador is going for a fast second town center at the moment. He's staying Classical Age, and it's looking like he's going to go for some sort of a classical fight. Now, this is very much a skill situation to come through now for both players. Soup needs to make sure that he's getting his technologies in, upgrading his heroes in response to any sort of mass Cyclops, or if the mass Cyclops don't come, he needs to make sure that he's defending against whatever else is getting made, as we do see a military academy coming through. No villagers on favor, however. So I'm a bit confused still. Hoplites coming in. Counter barracks coming through for Soup. Now, the reason for this is, in my opinion, is that Soup doesn't know what he's facing just yet. So he's opening 3 military buildings. Sure, not efficient. He can't spend from all these buildings. But the idea isn't to spend from all the buildings. It's to give himself the option to make a catapulti or the option to make a Caraballista, if need be, a little bit later. But he needs to go and confirm what's going on first as he moves over here, going to be checking out the town center and all the other good stuff. We are seeing hoplites getting trained into the military academy here, keeping it secret, keeping it safe. Up to the top side of the map, there is a cheeky Achilles coming in here to say g'day. I like that little move, as we've also got Bite of the Shark coming in. Also over here, we've got a Sky Passage. And Soup is going to start motoring around the map, grabbing all of the hunt. I like this move here from Soup. If he kills off the deers now, even if this town center gets grabbed, these deer are going to be raidable. So he's still okay here as the hoplites. He's more than okay here. He's setting up to be fine for any sort of cheeky delayed second town center situation. What's the goat situation? I just saw someone say in the chat, huge amount. Wow. I mean, it's kind of close. 17 to 10. Oh, 12. Meanwhile, Achilles comes through, says g'day. Over onto this side, the Sky Passage has already been spotted here as the hoplites are going to be coming through. Easy defense here for Soup is to just dive into the Sky Passage and pop out and defend this. No need to chase after it. Just cut the distance as the hoplite's getting jabbed down. Soup's got to be quick here. This is going to hurt. Up onto this side, he is going to be losing one villager, and that is not ideal there at all. Snipes off one hoplite. Really don't have any excuse losing a villager here with Uranus, but nonetheless, we'll be able to take a good fight here on the pullback from Matador. Gets one hoplite kill, so kills off a hoplite. Does have to drop the Carnivora there. As a couple of Terma starting to come through. I don't like the Terma until you see Toxoides. I don't like Terma. So it's a reaction to it, never preemptively. I'd rather see a Caraballista here than those Terma. Nonetheless, he's now going to be pressing forward. We do see 2 villagers on favor as well as Sword of Deimos is in, but Soup is more than happy to poke forward because he knows how slow this army is. But in seeing those Hypaspist, now Soup needs to start going into Caraballista. That's the only unit that he's got that is an answer for those Hypaspist. On top of that, we're also seeing Will of Kronos. So this path that Matador is taking to get to this Death Ball army of effectively Hippias, Hypaspist, Elder Cyclops, very, very interesting. I'm loving it. He's making it very hidden what he's doing. It's obviously, it's very obvious for us, but nonetheless, cheeky little Sky Passage coming up. Matador is scouting beautifully around at the moment. But one upgrade here that Soup is desperately going to be needing is going to be this one, so that he can make those hero Murmillos very, very simply, very, very quickly, and very, very cheaply. As Hippias coming up to the top side. Very important for Soup to not pull too far away from his Sky Passages. Everything at the moment for Soup should be playing around kind of defensive play, so to speak. As he pops out, and that's exactly right. Hippias pop through, they have to retreat back, and Soup continues in this game nicely here. The army is going to slowly creep up and become very, very scary. We see another Oracle coming out, actually, for Soup. He's got to fix up his Oracle positioning here. I'm not sure why he wants that. He's got so much favor. He needs heroes. He needs Caraballista. Another option would be to get to the Heroic Age for Satyr, which could be his idea. He just needs gold. He's got a beautiful gold mine over on this side. If you can sneak a citizen up onto this top corner, I keep saying this, if you can sneak one citizen away, you can always just retreat. And then you can rebuild the Sky Passage up here out of sight, out of mind. Or even like, yeah, just hidden anywhere. But Matador says, I'm going for the main base. I don't care about your gold. Is the Oracle going to go down over here? Soup, incredibly risky at the moment with the amount of units he's got. Matador's got to be thinking, hang on, something's not quite right here. Something is not quite right here. You don't have enough units. Soup is almost in through Hyperion. He might be needing another temple, to be honest. He's making some more barracks around onto the back. Pestilence is still in, so he can use that to hit all of these buildings as the villagers are going to be bailing out onto a completely different position here. As the Pestilence is in. Losing the temple means losing the free Deuterino. As the Sky Passage is going to go down. Terma pulling back away. Huge damage. It looks like the town center will complete that heroic age. As a Carnivora gets dropped down, going to be able to at least defend this for the time being. As the Terma bailing completely. Citizen going down over here as well. As the Achilles does end up getting sniped. What other option here does Soup have? He's going to start making a couple of Arcus. He's got no wood in the bank for the moment. Over here, gets pushed back. Will need to bail on this position, I think. Does he have any villagers in the main base? Can he get himself up another Sky Passage here in the main base is the question. As some Mamillo's coming over here. He's got Chaos. Why not use Chaos here is the big question. If he's going to fight it, may as well. The Satyr is starting to come out. There's still a huge military advantage here for Matador. There's Chaos onto this group. At least it will kill off all of those units, it looks like. Good hefty amount of damage as the villagers have to bail out onto this position. Pulling over here, going to start shanking. Loses a citizen for it, but that's worth it. As this Satyr out of position here is going to get sniped. But Matador still happily pumping units in the classical age. He's yet to be able to just move in and snipe the town center. He decides to retreat and say, all right, let's move to the next part of this game. It's 38 citizens to 42. So Soup's not that far behind here. He needs a Sky Passage in the main base. 100%. We are going to be seeing a couple of medium hippies coming through. Over onto this side, the Sky Passage will end up going down. Lots of Satyr on the way as the citizens to retreat back into the Sky Passage. He's got that Carnivora he could bait these units into. And now we see a Sky Passage coming up as the army can make its way back into the main base here. Hippias to pull away. And the villagers, citizens back onto the gold mine. Is he going to come over here and just drop everyone onto food? Does have that gold over here. A couple of relics sitting. Pandora's box would have been nice for the cheaper Satyrs, but nonetheless, the Pegasus over on that spot. We see a random shade going over to the right-hand corner. Is there any chance here for Soup to muster some sort of a defense? He's only got 3 oracles remaining. As the Hippias to take out this position, gets those specials off with the Satyr, but still has to pull back. Doesn't have another... Well, he has a shockwave, so he can use that. As he's going to pull back to his Carnivora. Citizens going down underneath the town center. As it's kind of looking like Soup has been locked off for the time being. But Matador going incredibly ham into this main base. He's losing a lot of military here. But the citizens are also going down. The Soup retreats into the house, manages to keep that one low HP villager alive there. And a little bit of life here for Soup as Matador does throw his army away in that moment. But Soup's got to be really careful as that Achilles is going to run through and massacre these Satyr. These are the strong units he's got. He does have a sky passage over here he can dive into. Lots and lots and lots of food coming in. 4 military barracks here that he could try and pop out. Citizens just falling left, right, and center. As the shockwave finally coming through here for Soup. Sniping more units, as many as he possibly can with those Satyr, but it does not look like it's going to be enough. As Matador coming through with more and more units. The economy is fully idled basically here for Soup. And what else can he do in this moment? Couple of Contarius queued up. It's close in military. It's not close in military count. There's 2,000 military count differential here. But Matador here actually says he has to retreat back. Soup's still trying to get just little bits of damage done. He's lost all of those Satyr, unfortunately. Has to build a couple more Oracles back out. And he's also, well, he's kind of gold starved. He's got 950 gold left in the main base. But Matador says, well, I did enough damage there. You're down to 34 villages. Let me just pull back and we'll sort everything out. And we'll win the game a little bit later. No sense in finishing the game off right now, he says. Contarius getting pulled. Up onto this side, the Hippias do spot an Oracle. The Citizen to bail into a mana there. Onto the front here. So he gets a couple of shots off before he retreats back into his main base. But this army is now back out and looking fierce as ever. As the Arcus pop behind the town center, the Contarius are going to be going down incredibly quickly. Some garrison micro here from Soup. Putting on his best display of defensive micro here that he possibly can. Sky Passage going to be falling. Gold Mine gets pushed off of. As the Citizens bailing back into the town center. But in the end there, Soup not able to survive against the onslaught of this Ares, Hades shenanigans. I don't think he needed to... Well, okay, there's two things here that I think Soup could have tried to make this game just feel a little bit different. Thing number one is, while I will agree with you that the Cairo Ballaster doesn't feel amazing against the Hoplite, it does feel pretty good versus the Hypaspist. Because the Hypaspist has got less HP. The Hypaspist got less Pierce Armor. And that Cairo Ballaster is going to be able to pick them off really, really quickly. So the way to deal with it would be to have some defensive Cairo Ballaster here while aging up. Such that you can just be sniping those units in the main base with a Sky Passage to garrison in and out of. That would have been one angle while going to the Heroic Age. The other angle maybe staying in the Classical Age and making mass heroes here to break through this Greek army. But nonetheless, a nice try here from Soup. Matador gets the dub. He is up 3-2 now. Going into game number 6. Will Soup be able to bring this one back? We've still got the Ace Gods left up these players' sleeves here. So we'll see how that's going to go. I hope you guys are having a fantastic time. And we'll move into game number 6 right now. What classical comp beats Cyclops, Hypaspist, Hippias, Hypaspist? You've got Catapulti, Murmillo, Cairo Ballaster, heroes. With the infantry being heroes, basically. And Shockwave and Carnivora. So we're going now into what map? Into Nile Shallows. 1 win for this. 1 loss here. Funnily enough, there's 2 gods here that are... I mean, if this was the previous patch, I would say there's 2 gods here that are actually pretty good into Isis. Poseidon good into Isis, Kronos good into Isis on the previous build, right? In this build, however, I'm not exactly sure, as we will be seeing a Isis versus Isis. We've got our first mirror, ladies and gentlemen. We have our first mirror. We will have an Isis mirror going into game number 6. Who wins the Isis mirror between these two? Not really sure. What is this Sunday Classic? Okay, so around about 12, 13, 14 years ago, there was a expert Uranus player by the name of Armycore who wanted to make a name for himself. And he went around challenging all of the GOATs of the time. He played Magyar. I believe he played the Mister. He played everybody and their mum. And he made the event called the Sunday Classic. And it was very, very exciting back in that time. So I thought pay homage to the great man himself and make this thing happen. Alrighty. Let's get into this next game, hey? Alrighty, we're into game number 6 as we have been greeted with our first ever mirror matchup. Wow, yay. In the right-hand corner, we've got Isis and Matador. In the left-hand corner, we've got the green soup. Also playing as Isis. Now you guys are going to be going, why? Boy, why did you allow mirror matchups in this draft format? Well, there's a 1 in 7 chance that you're going to see a mirror matchup. That's it. There's a 1 in 7 chance you're going to see a mirror matchup. If they pick a mirror god. Now, to be completely honest, I do not expect in the upcoming tournament to see that many people picking the same gods. But we'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, Isis versus Isis, and we'll see what these guys are going to go for. Now, let's break it down. 2 minor gods, Anubis and Bast. What do you get with Anubis? Well, you get Anubites, obviously. You get Spearman upgrade, and you get Plague of Serpents. What do you get with Bast? Well, you get Eclipse, you get System of Bast, and also adds a wet, so economy, and you get the Sphinx. So if we weigh those 2 things up, better spears, better economy. Kind of a similar myth unit. Eclipse versus Plague of Serpents? Well, that depends on a lot of things as to how this game's going to go. The next one in... Oh, there's also faster favor gather rate if you're going for Anubis as well. So keep that in mind. Now, the next one is Sobek versus Nephthys. Well, Sobek gives better camel riders. It also gives cheaper buildings, stronger buildings, and it also gives a locust, which does damage to your opponent's army, which can be very, very important. And then finally, there's also the Petsukos. On the other hand, Nephthys gives Ancestors, gives Stronger Priests, and gives Scorpion Men. Ancestors is a myth unit, so it combines in with the Eclipse. So you can get some very nice combos with Ancestors, Eclipse, a whole bunch of Scorpion Men, or a whole bunch of Sphinx. That can be a route you go down. Another route to go down is to go down the Anubis Petsukos route, where you're going for Spearman Petsukos, because that's going to be able to counter out those Camel Riders and things like that, and also Chariot Archers, because the Petsukos can kill for Chariot Archers. And then finally, you've got Thoth versus Osiris. So how do you make that decision? Well, Thoth is going to be giving you super producing buildings, or a building that's super producing, so a huge amount of economy up until you're at full population. And Osiris is going to give you even stronger Camel Riders. So the questions you have to ask yourself when deciding which god to go is, can we make Spearman Petsukos work versus effectively Camel Rider, or some sort of Ancestors Eclipse timing push, right? Because if you're going to go for the Spearman, are you then also going to go for Osiris? Probably not. You're probably going to go for Thoth, and you're probably going to be wanting to pump out, I don't know, maybe you don't want to go for Thoth, actually. Maybe you do want to go for Osiris just for the god power, son of Osiris there. I don't know. I'm really not sure, to be completely honest. Is it live? Yes, it's live. We're in game number 6. We got the System of Bast on the left-hand corner. Over here, we got the 9 Cauldrons. We're also seeing Prosperities getting dropped down and Priests getting produced. We see Fatal Flurry's Sledge on the right-hand corner. And both players here are deciding Bast and Go is the option. Meanwhile, thank you for the subscription, Bananas. Appreciate it, my friend. I know I said some mean things to you. I take it all back. I'm always upset. Except for when I'm happy. Okay, onwards and upwards. What am I saying? What we're seeing here from Soup, I could be wrong on this, but it's looking like he's going for a fast heroic. He is going so absurdly all in right now. He's done an 18 villager heroic age. And then what? Oh, Sphinx charging through, trying to get into the main base. You can't dodge the Sphinx. You can't dodge him. He does have an obelisk over here, so that's gonna be enough for him to drop his. Can he put? Yes, he can. It's gonna be enough for him to drop. He can't put it here, but he can put it here. It's gonna be enough for him to drop the Ancestors Eclipse if he's fast enough. The Sphinx here, kind of missing this. Does he see it? Of course he sees it. It's right in front of him. He's got all the obelisks in the world. But he's gonna be knocking down all of these bad boys. You do see some priests moving out across the map, making sure they can see something. The villagers here for Soup now starting to move forward, moving villagers over onto the lumber camp. This is absolutely wildly all in. The priests are in the wrong spot here because this is the place to drop Ancestors Eclipse. Though there's not that many villagers in the main base. As there's the heroic age, drops his god power, wandering forward to put a Migdal stronghold in the face of El Matador. El Matador bringing his priests over here, and that will simply just say, okay, well, we're going to retreat those minions around to hit something else while leaving a handful wandering around in the main base as he's going to swing over here and try and find the rest of these villagers. Does he know? Well, he's got to know there's something over here, right? Searching up, seeing nothing here. The villagers still have not reacted. As a marker coming up, a couple of granaries as well to block this one off as the priests making their way over here. Soup does notice it. Going to start whacking away. as he gets onto the villagers. This is going to be a couple of kills for him as the ancestors are almost dead. So he may as well sacrifice them in here to get as many kills as he possibly can. But siege works up. Chariot archers now coming through. Matador a little bit delayed on his own heroic age. But a siege tower to come through is going to be immediate damage done into this main base. What Soup needs is an obelisk up the top and be heading up there to hit that gold mine because he's locked this gold mine off. Matador is all... Wait, he sells resource. He was short gold there. As the temple going down, Soup on the other hand, what is going on with his economy? He's being harassed in the main base or something? I don't know. He's got no gold income at the moment. Couple of siege towers coming through. I'm so confused right now as to what Soup's plan is. He's only got 19 villagers after all is said and done. Priest coming in. The priests here from Soup can heal the siege towers as he's going for this town center, but Matador too smart. He's on the other one. Heal the siege towers up, my Soup. There he goes. You don't have to retreat back. Keep sniping villagers and staying here. Villager defense is not it. As the monument going to be going down. The camel rider doing its best to stay alive here. Scorpion men coming in for Soup as well. As the heroic age has dropped now for Matador, has the damage been done? It's a 10 villager difference. The main base of Soup is now under attack. And Soup has to idle his entirety, the entirety of his economy. The minions here might simply just be able to take the town center down, right? I'm pretty sure they can. 50% hacker? I'm not sure. Nonetheless, siege towers coming back in yet again. Sniping down those... The villagers sniping down the siege towers here, but great control from Soup. Healing up the siege towers. Is he going to be able to keep this one alive? He does barely keep it alive. As the villagers are going to bail. But it's such a gigantic villager differential after all is said and done here. But the house is going down. The main base knocked out. The villagers have to move up here. There's still hippopotamus, wood, and gold at this top position. So after all is said and done, Matador has the villager lead. But he's behind 2,000 military resource value at the moment. Which is not a small amount. He's going to need a lot of time here to get that advantage back and put himself in the lead here. However, this one Sphinx just continuing to be a nuisance in Soup's base. Soup pulling back, going to go up to the top position there. Where is he getting gold from? Right in the middle. As Soup sees this, he might be able to snipe villagers from this position. But then he has to be careful about his siege towers, cleaning up more houses over here. At the moment, Matador does not care. He's got 160 max population here. This village is now making their way out into the middle of the map. You have to make a transition into camel riders here. Full camel rider is sort of the way to beat your enemy, Migdol. Soup starting to move in onto this position. Camel riders pulling back. What's the plan? Do you go through the town center? Or do you go through the Migdol? I feel like if you go through the town center, you don't have to finish the game here. You stop all the problems basically. In fact, priests are getting forced out of the main base or the main town center there because, or the main town, so the second town center because there's a scorpion man here. As one Sphinx goes down, all of these camel riders, they can't fight against the scorpion man. It's too strong. It's the priest going up. You can't let that scorpion man go down there. Chariot archers don't have ballistics. They're missing the priest. Good control there from Matador, pulling back, but the Pharaoh's in. Scorpion Men down. Does Matador have what it takes to break out of here? It's looking like he does. Villagers are coming in to help out as well. Chariot Archers trying to shoot and scoop back to the Migdol, but he just needs to bail there. He's got to get back to his Migdol now. As now the military differential has been equalized. But Matador staying a little bit too long underneath the Migdol stronghold there. Villagers now starting to make their way around here to go into the Aurochs as he's run out of food on the back. This game is absolutely insane. Spirit of Mark coming through for Soup as he wants more priests in here. He could take his Pharaoh off and start healing. For those of you who don't know, he heals up at, I think it's 10 HP a second. Is that how much it is? Heals at... Yeah, 10 HP a second. So it's pretty quick. As a temple coming up on the front. There's no... Well, there is a monument here. There's no monument for Matador. As Soup moving up to the top side here. What is he doing with his army? The villagers are out in the open. You can't be affording to lose anything here. As the villagers getting cut off on their pullback into the Migdol. One goes down. 2, 3... That's painful there as now Soup coming back in with his own units here. As I don't think Soup can take these fights anymore. These heavy camel rider is so scary. As Soup turns around. There is one Scorpion Man out actually for... How did he manage to... Oh, that was the free Scorpion Man. He built the temple. Pharaoh gets brought in to try and deal with this, but this looks like Soup's attack has ended up failing. And Matador survives another day here. I don't think Soup's going to be able to rebuild his army at this point. His economy is absolutely shot. 28 to 44. Down by 2,000-ish military resources. And he does say in that moment that the game is done. GG. Well played. Thanks for coming. Matador claims the series in 6 with incredibly well-defended execution of this 2 town center ISIS play. It was just too good of a map over here. The hunt on this position, the gold behind here. Soup executed brilliantly to break through, killing that town sort of maybe a little bit faster. If maybe he could have been a little bit more on top of healing up those siege towers. I don't know. It was such an exciting strategy, but it just did not quite work out for Soup in this one. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all she wrote here for today of the Sunday Classic. It is Friday, however. And for me, I do, in fact, need to hop off here now. I've got a lot of stuff I need to prepare for. We've got, I'm heading away for a week, unfortunately, to go see my parents, go see my gran. My gran's turning 90. So that's going to be some fun. But unfortunately, I have to head off and get a whole bunch of work done. So appreciate everyone for coming in and saying good day and hanging out with me on the stream. But for now, I bid you adieu. And I will see you guys. I will see you guys in a week, I think. I don't think I'm going to be able to be on any time when I'm away. But I'll be back in a week. Don't go nowhere. Remember me. I exist still. But it's going to be a week of nothing. I'll see you on Monday. The 25th of August. All right. Bye for now. Peace.